Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be previewing the Canada versus South Africa. Um, yeah, South Africa versus Canada. Now, these two teams are very interesting. I think South Africa started off the tournament. I think their performance was not good. I mean, everyone knew that. It's not just me believing. I mean, their performance was not good because of the two red cards and stuff. But the way they bounce back, you have to commend them. You have to say that okay, this team is not a team you just kind of ignore. Because after that 2-0 loss versus Mexico, they drew against Czech, which nobody saw that coming. I'll be honest, Czech Republic is a very good team in European football, and for them to draw against them, that showed courage. And then for them to go on and win at Korea, that shows you how good this team is. Which is why I think some people who are saying that, oh, we got a good group just because, we got South Africa, they're partially right because Switzerland right now came first in our group and they got Algeria. Now, bear in mind, Algeria is one of the top teams. Their players are international, good European soccer players, and we don't want to compete with them. I'm just being honest. I don't want to compete with a team which has international superstars in them, like Riyad Mahrez and stuff. I don't want to do that right now. I want my team to perform at expected levels with a team that I know we're going to win against. And I feel South Africa is a very good team to do that. Not because I feel like we're fully complacent and we're gonna win this. No, 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 no. This is an interesting test for us. The two games that we've had, let me just see that. The two games that we've had, Bosnia, the first game that we had more shots, we had more touches in the opposition, we wanted to score more. It was a very good result, but we got a draw. Now, the other game against Qatar, the two red cards definitely helped us out. There's no doubt about that, right? But it was a completely dominant performance. And one thing you have to understand about the Canadian national team is we thrive of counter-attacking football. I don't think possession football suits us because if you look at the Switzerland game, we were counter-attacking football perfectly. I think the first half we played brilliantly, despite what people say. We played brilliantly in order to kind of rile them up. They were trying to just be basic, they weren't really doing much. But we came in, we destroyed them. We destroyed every passing patterns that they had planned and stuff. We came in and did that. But because of that early goal, we lost the momentum. You that happens in football. And one thing I wanna understand about, I want you guys to understand about the Canadian national team is counter-attacking is the way to go. That's the way we want to play. And Jesse March with this counter-pressing, that's how you should be able to get a result. Now, once you dominate, once you try and go into possession, this is where we screw up, and this is where we're not the best. I've seen this with my club team, Manchester United. We're not the best with the low blocks. We're better with counter-attacking football. I don't personally agree with that, but that's just how people do it. Me personally, I do like counter-attacking football, but not for Manchester United. For a team like Canada, 100%, 100% go all out. Do all the counter-attacking football, and you're going to see the results. You're going to see how these people play. But one thing I know for sure, I want us to beat South Africa so bad because I know the sport can be a big sensation then. I know us reaching the round of 16, possibly the quarterfinals, is going to be a huge step forward. I think initially when you saw the groups, I think third was the best expected um, finish for us because I feel Bosnia is a good team. I feel Switzerland's a good team. Qatar, I didn't know much, so I kind of expected, okay, we're gonna come third. But for us to come second, I think it's expected and it's a good result. But I want us to go forward. I feel like the sport has potential to do wonders, and I think the future generation is going to be right now watching this game. They're going to be watching how these players play, and I think the way that the team's been set up, the way that we're kind of communicating and doing things, it's amazing. I want this nation to go forward in football. I do. I know I said football there because of my European fans, but still, I feel like, yeah. Let me just. I think tonight's gonna be an interesting one. I think South Africa versus South Africa. There are two teams. There's something you have to understand. There are two teams in football. There's one team which is has character and has the grit and has the ability to just finish the game. While there's another team which is full of quality. Now the big teams have both. Now we're talking about South Africa and Canada here. Are they both? No. South Africa, I consider them as a team of characters. I think they saw their performance against Mexico and they turned up in the next two matches. They knew nothing. They were like, we're going to go die for our country, which I think is amazing. And it showed in their performance. They wanted to do that. But the one thing you have to understand is it's a team of character. I don't think they have that quality. Now, us on the other hand, I think we have shown signs of character, but we're definitely a team of quality. I mean, we have a great striker, we have a great midfield. The defense is something which we lack in, but we can compensate. This is something which against Switzerland was exposed for us. Because we were counter pressing, we allowed them to kind of go forward and kind of just lob it in, which is what screwed us up many times in the first half. But there was no goal because, again, as I've spoken about this before, they have not done that. They have not. Yeah, they cannot convert. It's not a good team, Switzerland. It's a good team, but it's just they don't have the killer strikers that would allow England, France, Spain, Portugal, Argentina, all of these, and Brazil. They would all annihilate us, 100%. But all in all, I think, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. Canada's going to win. And if they do, it's going to be big for the sport in the nation. I think we're going to do wonders. We could go into that. And I think us coming second was a blessing in disguise. I was actually pretty sad when we came second because it would have been a good statement win for us as well if we just came first. But after looking at who we got and Switzerland got Algeria, I'm kind of happy. I think it's expected of us, and I think South Africa is one of those teams that we need to dominate. Whether it's to counter-attacking football or possession football, I think counter-attack is the way to go. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys are watching the World Cup, let me know where you guys are watching it from, and let me know your thoughts. And yeah, take care and peace. Bye bye.